Thank you very much, Mr. Marx, and all of you. A very warm welcome here in Munich at our ICM. Mr. Marx already mentioned that prevention is a very broad term that you can define in various ways. And actually, at the early stages of prevention, it was about different topics. However, I still think that we might communicate and define this term in a very broad sense. For example, housing politics at first glance might not be directly connected to crime prevention. But if it is true what they say, that you can really kill people with housing, meaning with terrible living conditions and residential conditions, prevention, when it comes to sufficient residential offers and appealing residential situations, is a type of crime prevention. And a former Federal Minister of the Interior, who was quite a musician, even said once, the musical offers at the schools, such as musical schools and so on, are the best type of crime prevention ever. That might be too broad for some of you and going too far, but I really think that crime prevention or security should be defined in a very broad sense in order to actually tackle the roots and not only fight the phenomena and the results. Whether this is about youth crimes or dental health or actually spreading AIDS, it's always about protective measurements when it comes to prevention and to reduce damaging influences. It's about foreseeing what comes and act accordingly so that the child does not even fall in the fountain, what we say in Germany. We say prevention is better than healing. The old Greek people said dietetic was communicated. It's like an introduction for acting in order to gain health and to maintain it. In the Middle Ages, it was rather about the mental health that people were concerned about. And reformations about the 1900th century saw prevention as a central topic of health politics, especially in and around Munich. We had Mr. Karl Wilhelm Diefenbach and Hugo Höppeler and Mr. Gustav Graeser. We had some of the main protagonists of this preventive movement living here. Mr. Gustav Graeser, you might take a closer look at in that context. He had natural philosophical ideas and was a radical pacifist, also publicly standing for pacifism. At that time, it was not really something that pleased the government. After the bloody disruption of the Republic, people didn't really want to hear about pacifism and really not about natural philosophical aspects. Dealing with Bavaria, which used to be, which people were planning to set up all new, were not really part of that part. And that's actually why he was banned from Bavaria, due to endangerment of the state. Today we'd say preventively exiled. In the meantime, the prevention thought became more and more successful in all social areas. Disease prevention or conflict prevention or even crime prevention, as well as addiction prevention. to debt prevention and also traffic prevention. Not everything that I have listed now is covered by us on this day, today, the GPD, but quite a lot of aspects under the main topic, safe living in the city and the countryside. So the city of Munich attaches quite an importance to this Congress, meaning we, together with the Free State of Bavaria, are appearing as a co-host, bear the half of the costs of the evening reception. And if we do that, we do it properly, right? And that actually includes the Free State of Bavaria for the other half, so that we have numerous voluntary helpers, trainees of the city of Munich, as people that you can always turn to. And we've got municipal experts as referees, as speakers today. And we've got this special publication, Being Safe in Public Transportation. This will be a main topic of the municipal security efforts of preventive nature. But of course, prevention is not just limited to a special event. It has got to create the prerequisites on a daily basis for people feeling safe in the city. And this is not just local patriotic appraisal that you should be skeptical about. When I say, after all, according to all criminal statistics, Munich is allegedly the safest metropolis of Europe. Every statistics shows that all over again, and every city ranking confirms that the society, the residents as much as the visitors, perceive it like that too. How come that we have this very high security standards? I'd like to mention one word at least, because it has been covered in the current discussions, but not really in detail. The security situation does have something to do with prosperity of the Bavarian state capital, Munich. A prospering city with assets is able, after all, to create social programs, finance such programs that might not be able and might be the first to be thrown out if there's a lack of assets, because there's no legal obligation to conduct those programs. The connection between the economic welfare and the security situation should also be covered everywhere and not just in special cases for special persons that are dangerous. This is why we also count social politics, residential politics, but also educational politics, religion and culture politics. All these fields are part of crime prevention in the broadest sense. In the year 2000, the city of Munich issued a guideline securing the inner peace, stating expressly that along with the local security politics, it's also about education and health. First of all, it was to be ensured that the tensions are to be avoided, and if there are any offenses, the guideline, first of all, counts on helping offers. However, if these offers don't succeed either, you really need stronger means, stricter means, decisive means, and use them accordingly and consequently. I believe that neither prevention by pressure, that's not really a good substitute, but you can not really substitute the pressure by prevention either. But first, you need to use all the potential from the helping offers. But at the end, if it went wrong, you really can't do anything else but use pressure and force. What was really quite a success in Munich was the collaboration of the police, governmental and municipal administration in the Security Association of Munich, because you need an abbreviation for everything nowadays. It's called SAMI, Security and Action Collaboration of Munich, so to speak. Along with that, you have the Sports and Security Committee. We've got 2 soccer teams here that are quite successful on a national level, and these games are also quite a challenge when it comes to security. But we've got also meetings in all the quarters of the cities with all local institutions and all local meetings and councils being part of these meetings to talk about security. In 2009, they founded the Association Munich Courage because of the death of Mr. Dominic Brunner, who tried to protect young people in a dire situation at a train stop. And this is why he was beaten to death in a most brutal way by other young people. This could have meant a very awful signal that civil courage is not worth the while, but you might even pay for it in the most horrible way. This is why it was so important that there was a wide range of public means reacting to this death. And now, even more true, don't look away. We need civil courage. You need to prevent these situations of violent youngsters against victims, to tackle the root and also psychologically speaking answer this issue correctly. One further example was the special department against the right-wing extremists. This is a very ghost-like criminal energy and might even turn into terrorism at some point. And this is something that people only realized after the late information of the last year. I believe that violence and crime prevention really have to take the topic of right-wing extremists very seriously and have to cover this topic, and that we have to succeed in reaching the goal that everywhere, in every small town, even where you are so helpless when it comes to these brown ghosts, in every small town, also in every big city, you need to be very decisive and very strong. The society needs to really tell these people, we do not want this here, so that there will be no extreme event, no extreme issue, because it has been prevented in the first place, and there will be no crimes, no violence or national socialistic attacks. This is a quite new topic that prevention work has to deal with. Within the framework of social politics, we have had great experiences with this mediation center for social matters. When you have an issue with your neighbor or something in your area, they start at the schools and the training institutions to tackle these programs. And one other cornerstone in order to prevent social tension is cheap residential areas. Provide such areas, because if you don't live in your own home, you are more likely to slide down, so to speak. But if you have a self-determined life in your own place, that's a different story. Munich idea is fighting addiction, we issued a program for prevention that informs on alcohol abuse and is warn of that abuse, substance abuse. That might be quite a difficult task in Munich because the self-display of the city in certain September weeks where, as you might all know, the Oktoberfest starts, it's quite difficult to put that under one hat. But we have to manage both. The parties that we celebrate here, more than 200 years of tradition we have now with the Oktoberfest, and at the same time, and specifically due to the reason that we do that, to teach the young people to deal with all the offers of substances and alcohol in a proper way in order not to crush in an awful way. And this is quite a mass phenomenon that we have seen. Alcohol abuse, not just young people, but also children already. Prevention works. That's also a task for school politics. We've got a network, School Without Racism, School with Courage, that more and more schools participate in. And we try to teach people mediation and to bring these mediation concepts to schools. What I think is also crucially important, especially against youngsters, criminal youngsters, having open schools and sports areas. For example, for nightball, that's nighttime basketball, or other sports activities apart from school time. If you don't offer anything to young people at the times they just have, even though the elderly people don't really understand anymore, there's no wonder that they come up with stupid ideas. But if we offer attractive things to them, they might even learn to, in the course of sports, to behave in a social manner and to enjoy their lives. In that sense, I believe that Munich's got a wide range of quite good prevention examples. And I'd like you that, along with the very tight program of this Congress, that you might even find the time to take a look at one or two quite good aspects of the city of Munich. Very welcome in Munich, all of you.